Good morning, everyone. I'm Roy Potter, and this is the Potter Expositor. A little off time this morning, a little under the weather. Hopefully I'm not going to make this too long, but I thought that we needed to at least cover a few things so that you know that I'm aware of them, and we'll try to discuss a little bit in the chat room as well. Looks like the sound is okay. Today is the 14th of June, 2018. Again, thank you for coming. I'm glad you're here. And why 2300? Well, of course, we got notice, and we've known that these have been going on, that they've made approximately 2,300 pedophile arrests, people that were basically online, it sounds like, and probably connections to that. 2,300 arrests over the last 60 to 90 days. And that's extremely good news. It shows that we're moving in the right direction. However, of course, my old caveat is it needs to move up the line. It seems like everyone in the government is afraid to go after the people in the higher up areas. And of course, that only makes sense because they're all protecting each other. We all know how that works. But hopefully President Trump doesn't allow them to do that very much longer. Now, I realize that he's just the president. He doesn't have omniscience or omnipotence. And that the government, the secret government, the shadow government, the deep state, indeed much of what exists in our institutions are against him and the restoration of the constitutional republic. But he's there, so I hope he continues to do this, and that'll be great. Of course, we've seen some other arrests of pedophiles and child traffickers around the country in the last week or so as well, and again, that's moving up the line. We know about NXIVM and all of those connections, so it's happening, but we're still basically primarily at the low to mid level. We still aren't getting into the higher end, although the evidence is starting to show up there, especially with this thing with NXIVM and all of that. So we'll see. But before I go any further, I better wish President Trump a happy birthday. I think he's now our oldest president. I might be mistaken about that, but I think he's the oldest president in office at this point in his term. But sharp as a tack, strong as a bull, and really happy that he's got all of this energy going to Singapore and doing all of that he did. It's really, really amazing that he just keeps going like that. It's absolutely amazing. And I might as well say that, most of us who are watching this know that, his entire accomplishment there in North Korea, and really Kim Jong-un's too, because it took some courage, I think, for Kim to step away from China, and that's basically what he did. Not to mention stepping away from the New World Order and the CIA, right? So that was a big step. But I really think that we need to appreciate both of those guys. I know how bad Kim has been. I understand that. I was thinking the other day about how many people he's had murdered, enslaved, tortured, whether he himself did it or those in his regime that were trying to keep power, whichever. It's a very, very bad situation. But what I do feel, and I think most of us do, if you understand the condition that the North Korean people have been in for so long that our hearts, our compassion really has to go out to them, not just to save the world, of course, to keep nuclear war from happening, but also to free them. Remember, one of the things a godly man does is he opens up the prisons and allows those who have been imprisoned wrongly to come out. And that's really what this thing in North Korea is. This is opening the gates of the prison of North Korea and allowing them to smell and taste freedom, liberty, and all of the all of the blessings and cursings that brings with it. But certainly they've been living in poverty and want for a very long time under a tyrannical regime. And I think this is a great thing. Now, of course, my next step is in all of this is that Trump needs to open the prisons here in the United States. I realize politically that's going to be tough too, but the fact of the matter is he's given some pardons here lately. The drug laws are out of control. Jeff Sessions is still pushing down that road in opposition to President Trump's wishes. And I'm going to bring up Jeff Sessions here again in a minute. Again, I'm sorry, I'm a little under the weather this morning. Really bad sore throat. So too much travel, too much going in and out of hot weather and then air conditioning, and it just finally caught up to me. So anyway, there are so many things wrong with our justice, and I even hate to call it that, our justice system in the United States, and certainly the prison system and the minimum sentences for really nonviolent crimes. The whole thing is out of control. And so I'm hoping that as he has opened the prison of North Korea, or is in the process of doing that he will also be able to do it for those in our country who are there and really shouldn't be. Prisons shouldn't be used the way our country uses them. It's really wrong. Of course, I've got to bring up the situation with Tommy Robinson. I don't mean to have ignored that all this time. It's just that I try not to get too much into the things that you can find that other people are talking about. And, of course, Tommy Robinson I consider a hero, and a lot of people are trying to denigrate him because of a few problems he had with his mortgage fraud and some other stuff. Hey, everybody has these little glitches in their life, but look at overall what he's been trying to do, especially to help the women and children, and I'm just going to say it, that the Islamic extremists and unfortunately that's a lot bigger group than YouTube or anybody would like us to say. But the fact of the matter is there is an invasion that's being facilitated by European Union and the leaders there, certainly the Vatican. And it took a lot of courage for Tommy Robinson to stand up and to tell it like it is, especially the cover-ups of the assaults, murders, and rapes and murders of their young women. It's just it looks like he's the only man willing to stand up there the way that he has. I'm sure there are others, but he gets the spotlight. So, of course, most of you know what happened is he was covering the trial of some Islamic, and they don't want to say that in the news, of course, but that's what it was, some Islamic people from somewhere in Africa. They may have been Somalis, but I'm not sure of that. But at any rate, that committed these hideous crimes. And because Tommy was there covering it, it was probably, from what I can understand, he was probably violating a court order to stay away from there. But regardless, that is, again, an infringement on his free speech. They're probably doing it under, he's going to incite the riot or whatever. Well, the government's the one that's causing all the riots, not Tommy Robinson. And people are, of course, now demonstrating for him in the streets. But nobody's responding to that from the government. I heard somebody was trying to get the Queen to respond, but that's probably a lost cause. But at any rate, so they took him to jail, they arrested him, didn't even give him due process, just threw him in jail, and now he's in a prison where it's basically 70% Islamic. Well, that's a death sentence for Tommy Robinson, and everybody knows it. And I'm sure the government, in their wicked, evil way, hopes that happens, and actually they should be held accountable for any damage or injury or death there. That should be entirely on them. So I wanted to mention that, but that's the example of the types of things that are happening in the Western world. I mean, when you consider it, I know most of you know that, we have more people in prison in the West per capita, especially in the United States, than China does. Isn't that crazy? Well, you could probably say, well, China just executes them. And there's some truth to that. But the point is that this has gone way too far. And of course, that goes along with the entire assault on free speech generally here in the West, what the social media platforms are doing to censor us. And of course, at least Trump's talking about it. He is talking about it, but no one, i.e. Jeff Sessions, is going after the antitrust violations and the violations against the First Amendment and all of that. And I understand the legal things about the private company platforms and all that, but they've really reached the point of public utilities where these things are as necessary as, say, newspapers or whatever. So I don't know where that's going to go. And bringing up Jeff Sessions, I'm kind of jumping around real quick. Like I said, I probably won't take a lot of time this morning. Sessions, he was on Tucker Carlson, and I don't know if any of you saw that, but he was not answering the question. And Tucker Carlson was, staring in the camera going, what is this guy talking about? What's wrong with this dude? And the fact of the matter is, and I'd love to know what the lady who reads body language does. I forget her name, but she's done some comments on Twitter and on YouTube, I believe. An expert that's called in to read those things. My estimation is that Jeff Sessions, the deer in the headlights look that he had, he's either totally compromised or he's scared to death to challenge those in the Department of Justice that have something on him, and in the deep state generally that have something on him. He just looks scared. He looks fearful. And of course, he hasn't given any support to the Congress to try to get the information out that the Congress has asked for. And frankly, I was really disappointed. We heard all this tough talk, just like from Trey Gowdy, a lot of tough talk, no action. And here we go. We've had all this tough talk from Jim Jordan and Meadows and all these guys, saying what they're going to do. Well, they're going to hold, DOJ and FBI people in contempt. And what do? Oh, we're going to put out a resolution in Congress today. I understand proceeding cautiously, making sure your ducks are in a row and all that. But then don't make a threat that you're going to hold them in contempt of Congress and then come out with a resolution. Does anybody have any huevos anymore besides President Trump? Boy, I wonder. I really wonder. And, we keep thinking, well, it'll help if we call our representatives and our senators and all that. No, it doesn't. Frankly, it doesn't help. Because the elections are all rigged at this point. And I hate to give my estimate of the situation on that, but that's just how I see it. I don't see that we're going to be able to change anything by the vote. The ballot box is pretty much gone by the wayside. Even if the Republicans keep the, during the midterms, if they're able to keep the seats they have and then add some, really, what difference does it make? They do the same thing anyway, right? We all know about the paradigm, the left-right paradigm, the false left-right paradigm. That's exactly what it is. So really part of the problem is that our entire, when it gets this bad, usually the next step is, the thing totally falls apart. And I don't want to scare anybody, but as hard as Trump is working, to see the MSM denigrate his efforts on this North Korea thing, his success there is just mind-boggling. But remember, the MSM, and he's come close again. He said the MSM is a dangerous enemy. Well, add what my motto, my slogan is on my channel, and then you've got the whole thing. The CIA equals the MSM, and the intelligence community is our most dangerous domestic enemy. So he just doesn't quite take it that far, although he's starting to approach that line now, which is really quite amazing, and I'm happy to see that. No, I still don't trust the majority of the CIA or the FBI. There are a lot of problems there, obviously, with the FBI and the Department of Justice. But the CIA, just because Haspel's in there and things are looking up, and Pompeo says things are good. The CIA is still the major problem in all the difficulties, along with the State Department that we're having right now, and the world, frankly. I mean, it's that bad. Okay, so the OIG report, which we've been waiting for that for how long? We kept, it's going to come out this date. No, we're going to bring it this date. No, we're going to do it this date. We're hoping that it will come out with few, if any, redactions. And if it does, I just hope President Trump comes out and says, no, declassify the whole thing. He really should do that. But we'll see what happens with it. So it'll be out today. I imagine he's looking at it right now, which is another reason why I'm not going to stay on very long, because I'm going to keep track of that today, as I'm sure all of you do. I do not anticipate any earth-shaking things happening from this. I just don't. I pray that I'm wrong, like I do with Sessions. I pray that Sessions is going to do something. 2,300 pedophiles plus others, that's significant. That is very significant. And I'm grateful for that. But we're still not, you cut off the supply line of your enemy, that's true. But in this case, we really have to go after the head. We really have to go after those who are the consumers of what these pedophiles provide, these pedophilic traffickers provide. Cut off that supply. Now, that doesn't work too well in the drug war. That's just the opposite of what you do. But on this thing, definitely, they need to go after those top line people. And I don't know if that's ever going to happen. A lot of people don't think it will. That Trump doesn't have that kind of power, and that Sessions certainly doesn't have the will. But still, I'm grateful that 2,300 have been taken out, and that that means that those children, those women and children primarily, there are that many less under that horrible situation than there would have been otherwise. So thank President Trump for that. I don't know whether to thank Sessions or not. I don't know if he's actually involved in that or not. I get the feeling like he's just kind of there as a piece of furniture, frankly. I mean, that's how bad I look at him. Again, I imagine let me see my volume here. It's probably not real good. Like I said, I'm having some problems, but if I turn it up anymore, I'll get some other background noise. So we'll just keep going on here. Where are all the whistleblowers? Well, they all petered out. I brought that up the other day. We heard all, and I've been calling for it for a long time. I've castigated them. I said the dividing line between a good agent and a bad agent is if you come forward. And of course, 8 of them were going to come forward, and then they said, no, we're not going to testify unless you give us immunity. And I already explained what that means. It means that the whole damn thing is corrupt. And, if this was run right, the excuse of, well, it was an order I was given wouldn't cut it. No, that would not. That's like the intent on you don't need intent in mishandling classified information, and you don't need intent to just go along with an order that was given that was unconstitutional or illegal. And the entire FBI is going to be like that. We saw it in Bundy Ranch. We saw how they operated, and they've certainly done it to President Trump. And if they're going to do it to the president, they're going to do it to general Americans all the time, which they have done. It needs to be totally dismantled. Totally. It started from the top. Give all the requirements of the FBI over to local law enforcement and maybe the Marshal Service. I know that's probably not going to work too well, but the point is that the entire IC needs to be taken out, with the exception of military intelligence. And even there's some problems, but not nearly as much as in the CIA. The CIA has infiltrated military intelligence, absolutely. I've told you about that before. I know that for a fact, but that's still in a better controlled situation than the other side if we dismantled the CIA. But we'll see what happens there. I'm not holding my breath, but I do know that that's absolutely important. Okay, I think that's pretty much all I really wanted to cover today. I just wanted to make an appearance so that you knew I was out and about, and that I was aware of what's going on. I will take a few questions in the chat here. You tell my throat, I don't quite carry through. Sterali Mistrial, the FBI, CIA, DOJ are the mafia. Yeah, they are a criminal enterprise. They believe they're above, they believe that they are the government. They are certainly the shadow government, but they believe they are the government and that they are the ultimate authority, and they are not. And that's why this thing has to be taken apart. Okay. Ruth Kessler, I still would contact my reps and senators to let them know about investigating the fraud mess on voting and all that, and everything else. I don't mean to say not to do that. It's just I realize it's almost fruitless because those people don't pay attention to us. That needs to change. But the way that it's going to change, to make a change, it's almost, it's a horrible thing to think about, what's going to have to happen to make it change. And I don't want it, I hope it doesn't go there. And with the American people being the dumbed down, fat and lazy that they are, I don't know. It's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be totally destroyed, we're going to be totally taken over and under a total tyranny like the panopticon I've talked about, or we're going to break out. I don't know which way it's going to go yet. Do I see any chance for tribunals? Tyler G. That'll be a last-ditch effort. Trump, nobody really wants to go there, and I understand that. Lionel says, no, there won't be, the court system can handle it. Well, Lionel, sometimes I think Lionel gets a little too simpleton, too. As smart as he is, I don't mean to insult him, because it is a complicated subject. We would like to keep it under the realms of the Constitution as far as, handling the 4th, 5th Amendments, all of that. But this is a war, ladies and gentlemen, and Lionel doesn't want to go there. But it is a war. And unfortunately, I think that the military tribunals are necessary. And that's a hard thing for me to say. But look at Jeff Sessions. Look at the court system. And I don't think we have it until Trump's second term, if he even does it then, to arrest these people. A lot of people, like Monograph, put out another video the other day, and he says there are going to be no arrests of the elites, and elites meaning people like Clinton, etc., Lynch, those types of people. That's just not going to happen, and he has some very good reasons for saying that. And unfortunately, by and large, I agree with him. But if it goes down that way, that will be a slap in the face of the American people. No, it's worse than that. It's treachery. Because we did, and I realized the difficulty. But, Hillary for prison was basically a platform of the Trump campaign. So we'll see. Where do the orders and the Fed 2011, where do the orders in the deep state ultimately come from? One person, a small group that consults first? If I told you what my feelings are on that, you'd probably think, wow, Roy, you're way out there. Well, you think that anyway. They're Luciferian. I do believe that they have connections to those who claim to have contact with the being that you would know as Lucifer, or that's not his real name, but that's just for discussion purposes, or have contact with him directly. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, it's all there. What they do, the destruction, the lies, the deceit. And this is the age of deceit. I hear a lot of people starting to catch on to that. I know I've been saying it for quite a long time. I'm supposing that others have too, but that's been a big thing for me because, I do study the scriptures, and it talks about this is the time when people want to be lied to, tell us deceits and lies, not truth. And that's really true. I mean, just look at what happens. Trump goes to try to make peace in North Korea and open that prison, and almost the entire MSM denigrates it and turns it into something other than what it is. And that's what we're facing. And so this is a big time for people with God's law written in their hearts and in their minds. And by the law, I mean, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I don't mean just the letter of the law. I'm talking about God's attributes. So this is a time when the people with God's attributes can really shine in the face of all this opposition. But by the same token, it's very dangerous for us. It absolutely is. Because the other side does want to destroy us. There's no doubt about that. That's obvious. They've been doing that for a long, long, long time trying to get rid of us. Okay, Rooster Cogburn, I can't disagree with you. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. I'll tell you what, as brave as you want and as courageous as you are in wanting to do that, it's not as easy as you think. It's very dangerous. Yeah, the missile launch. I will bring that up. I'm not certain what happened there. There are some indications. I do know that when you're coming back from Asia, I don't know what, I have not looked. Hello, Bliss, good morning. I have not looked at what the flight plan was for Air Force One, because you can't. I mean, even if they print it, even if they had one to show to you, it probably wouldn't be accurate, obviously, for security reasons. Did that missile try to take down, Air Force One? I don't know. I can't answer that. Scott Anthony, I saw the other day, I guess some people were saying, oh, it was a helicopter that went straight up and some other things. And Scott Anthony rightly determined that that's not the case, that it was some type of a very fast-moving missile, rocket or something like that. That's basically where he went with it. And from what I saw, the little bit I saw of it, I would agree with that. But that's another thing we'll probably never know about, whether it was actually fired at Air Force One or attempted to, or whether it was a warning, I don't know. There are people in our government. Remember, I've said the CIA has their own military. They have their own army, their own navy, their own air force. Very likely their own, I don't know if they have control of ICBMs. Well, some have been stolen. Who knows? Who knows? Certainly anti-aircraft type things, yeah, they certainly have some of that. So I don't know. Like I say, Trump's in a war. We are in a war with the deep state and the intelligence community, and I've been saying that for a long time. All right. I'm not sure. Somebody's talking about Michelle McKinney here. Your posts are up. Michelle, try to reword your posts. I've heard tales of you straw scrubbing chats. Michelle McKinney, bliss, thumbs up, whatever. I'm not sure what's going on there. Okay. Oh, Spirit of Truth, happy Father's Day to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, a little early. It's also my brother-in-law's birthday. I'm not sure how we're going to handle that, but we'll see how things work out. The CIA has them nukes. Well, they at least have, I think they can get control of them, especially the ones in certain submarines, sort of like what we saw in Hawaii. Yeah, very likely. Can't prove it, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, which is another reason why Trump might be very careful in the way he proceeds. I'm not sure. Full circle, what's going on with Crazy Lewis in the camp? I'm done with that now. Unirock, Nathan of Lift the Veil, myself, and a couple of others have really shown what that was, even Craig Sawyer. And Craig Sawyer is one of those, all of us get attacked, and little things at our background they try to bring up to again, denigrate what we say, our professional opinion or whatever. But the fact of the matter is he's self-destructing right now, this Lewis character. Anybody, and that's one of the reasons why I was, if Stuart Rhodes didn't go down there to keep track of Louis, the prepper, Michael Myers is his name. If Stuart Rhodes went down there to actually think that he was going to help Louis, that's crazy, because Lewis isn't going to give up his authority to anybody. And I have other suspicions of why Stuart Rhodes went down there, and I'm not happy with them. Barry, you're still here. I didn't know you were still here. Barry White, because you're a shill, Roy. Wow. And you're the one person I said I wasn't going to block, but I think I just changed my mind. I just changed my mind, Barry. I think I'm going to send you away. Then again, I hit the thing wrong here, so now I'm going to have to find you again. But I'm going to block you, Barry. If you can't say something nice, if you can't use a decent bye, Barry. Okay. Now I'm done with people. If you can't come here and add substance to the talk. And I've given Barry a lot of chances. Pardon me for a minute. I've given Barry a lot of chances, and he just foobarred. So he's gone. I'm sure a lot of you will be happy about that, because he has become a nuisance. And I said it the other day. I said, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. If you can't offer something that's reasonable, I don't care if you disagree with me, but to resort to name calling and that kind of thing, we're just not going to put up with that anymore. Actually, Unirock was the one that convinced me to do it finally. He really did. He runs a very tight channel. Of course, he has moderators and he has other people doing things. It's a very smooth ship, even though you look at it and it's really busy. Matter of fact, his mascot is busy. I'd like to know who that really is that's speaking into the microphone like that. It's not him. Somebody does a pretty good job of that. And then all the background, the cities and all the, wow, it's busy, busy, busy. But it's good. I like what Uni does. Wade the Canadian. My prediction is Trump will be unmovable for full 8 years, but then everyone is going to pay the price, and everyone who voted for Trump will be targeted. Wade, that's my concern too. Because and I've said that, as soon as he is out of office, whether they force him out or under that situation, everything can be turned around in a heartbeat. And look how they're accusing even Alex Jones of being a Russian agent, and criminally investigating. The FBI should be attacked by the Marshal Service and by the military and totally dismantled for their conduct. Totally dismantled, because they're enemies of the constitutional republic, calling us Russians. But you're right. Absolutely, 100% I agree with you. Roy, do you have any idea about the bigger picture? Wake Up is asking that. Wow, well, we're kind of seeing it, right? The real question is what is the end result going to be? Well, it depends upon your spiritual conditions, your beliefs. Historically, frankly, we're on an edge. We're on an edge. Historically, that little thing that they did up in, I think it was in New York City. They had a play where they said it was Julius Caesar, but it was really Donald Trump, and they assassinated him. We're at that point. I mean, that could happen at any time. And of course, it's been talked about and encouraged, even by government officials, even by people like CIA Philip Mudd, who should be arrested right now and in jail for what he said. But see, that's what I'm saying. We're on this edge, and it seems like nobody wants to really take it by the tail and collar it. And part of the problem is Jeff Sessions. But who put Jeff Sessions in there? Trump. Well, okay, Trump did it because he didn't know Sessions was going to recuse himself. Well, if you talk to some of these people that do all these analyses on Twitter and other places, they'll tell you, oh, that's all part of the plan. No, I don't believe that. I think Sessions was a plant by the deep state, or was compromised immediately when Trump appointed him and before his confirmation. Something said this isn't part of any plan. That's BS. And anybody who says it doesn't understand history like they think they do. Okay. Yeah, Sterali Mistriel. I don't think I've ever seen you here before, and I'm probably saying that wrong, but she says, or he says, we are in the crisis stage according to 4 stages of, dang it jumped, 4 stages of conquering a country from within. Absolutely correct, and I have talked about that. We are. Anyone else have Aerosmith going on in your head? Ruth Kessler, Aerosmith. Am I missing something? Wake up. We have more help than we know. Talk to Jordan Sather. I know Jordan Sather personally. I met him up in Washington State. I know where he's coming from. I understand that, and I've studied a lot of the same things he has, okay? But I have a different end take on it. I would say that we're probably not going to see eye to eye on some of who's going to save us ideas. Okay. JN14, this crowd cracks me up. Barry was a pest, but here we are all saying goodbye to him. What a bunch we are. Actually, that's a good point. See, we're being civil about it. I gave Barry every chance I could, and he didn't want to accept it. He decided that he wanted to, be a pest, and so we nicely said goodbye, Barry. I think that speaks well of us. So thank you, JM14. I appreciate that. Roy, are you? Okay, this sounds interesting. What's this about? Let's see here. I'm hitting my deal here. We got to see what. Hey Roy, this is from Sliwe12. Hey Roy, are you into today's starting World Championship of Soccer in Russia? Putin's all excited. I wonder if anything is planned to disturb the peace. I love soccer. I don't follow it anymore, but I played soccer varsity in high school and college, and gymnastics too, for that matter. But I like soccer. I tried out for football in high school. I lasted one tryout, and I knew that wasn't for me. And our high school team wasn't all that good that year. We were state champions for like 5 years straight, and then the year that I went in as a senior, actually I went in as a junior. I'm sorry. And that team was okay that year. It was when I didn't make the team because I dropped out of the trials. I was a junior, I think. Yeah, I was, and got on the soccer team. And then in my senior year, the soccer team was always state champions, and the football team were always state champions. Well, the football team went like last in the state in my senior year, and the soccer team went from state champion to second place. So it was a rough year for us. It was a rough year. Okay, hold on. Somebody said something. All right. I'm sorry that this chat's skipping around quite a bit. I saw something about Philip Mudd, and then it jumped. So I'm sorry I missed that. Whoever that was, it looked like it was a pretty good comment. Man, I hate it when I get these upper respiratory colds. They're just nasty. I knew it was going to happen, though. I was in and out of air conditioning when we were doing that filming and stuff, and I just knew it was going to get me, and it finally did. Okay. All right. Well, it's been almost 40 minutes. Like I say, I think we all want to find out what's going on. Mark SEMI, Roy, are microwave weapons real? Yes. As a matter of fact, some things about these sonic weapons on the embassy in Cuba and in China and other places they're not sonic, they're microwave. Okay, I saw something. I'm sorry, I don't mean to hold everybody up, but I thought I saw something on Mudd. Maybe I misread it. Okay. No, I don't trust Sessions, and I haven't for a long time. Basically, when he recused himself, I haven't trusted him since then. That was a damnable thing to do, and no, it was not part of any plan. That's baloney. He has done more to disturb this country and to mess it up than probably any other single person. As a matter of fact, I think Judge Jeanine said that. I think Judge Jeanine Pirro said that he's done more to harm our nation than any other single person in the government at this point. And that's saying a lot when you think about it. That's saying a lot. Okay, everybody. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go. Like I said, man, my nose and throat are just driving me nuts. But I wanted to make an appearance here today so that I was, still on the line, I guess you could say. And we're looking forward to the OIG report today. It'll probably be, I think it's going to be 3 p.m. Eastern time when they release it to the public, something like that. Again, I'm not expecting much. I'm sorry, I'm not. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I hope that they do. But these people are all crooked. Horowitz does not. I don't care what you're hearing. Horowitz does not have a good background. And the idea that, and I keep seeing this nonsense, that Huber in Utah has all these people at his disposal to do this work. Yeah, he might have all these people, but they're not doing anything. I don't believe that because I know too much about it here in the Intermountain West and who controls it. And even if these attorneys are all over the place, who selected them? Like they selected Huber? Anyway, so we'll see. I'm not certain anything great's going to come of that whole thing that Jeff Sessions has put up. Okay, everybody. Thanks for coming, of course. I'll go and I'll take some vitamin C and drink some more lemon juice and water and see if I can get better. If anything happens, drink lots of orange juice, Roy. Michelle McKinney, thank you so much, Michelle. Yes, I know I need to do that, and I will. If anything does happen that I think needs to have some comment on, then I'll make a quick upload or something like that, okay? I probably won't do a formal thing like this because it takes some time for me to get it set up where my phone, I can just turn it on and boom, we're there. You know what I mean? Okay, thanks so much for coming. God bless you. God bless yours. Keep your eyes on the horizon, your ears to the ground. Situational awareness on high. Prep, pray, stay out of the way. God bless the Constitutional Republic of the United States of America and the Second American Revolution. And God bless our President Donald Trump and all of his righteous endeavors. And may the Spirit of God descend upon him and give him the spirit of discernment as the dews from heaven, that he may know the difference between the right and the wrong and have the courage to do what's right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to check out. I will play the ending song this time. I got a little different one, I think. Let's see if I can get the right one. And we'll go out with this. And hopefully it'll be worthwhile. All right. Take care, everybody.